Всем привет, я Донис, и мы продолжаем проходить вампира. Сейчас мы идем сделать задание. Дорогой сувенир. Надо найти попу. Она где-то с этим самым... с чепелом. В церкви. О, закликивание тоже работает. Иногда. Все-таки люди попроще, чем эти гули. Зомби. Так, где-то она тут была. Секунду, она ж вроде больная была. А, и не насчет болезни.
Good evening, Christina.
Change your mind, Mr. Reed?
Could this be the scarf you lost, Miss Popper?
It is much more than a scarf to me. It is the only thing that connects me to my family and my country. Thank you so much.
Подсказка не сработала.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Блин, наверное, надо было допросить их перед тем, как отдавать шарф. Я простодушно отдал. Ладно.
Good evening, Doctor.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby.
Ну ладно, ничего страшного.
Yes? What is it that you want?
I'm sorry to disturb you at such a late hour.
No worries, my son. I'm still quite awake, having just returned from a funeral.
Yes, I know. I've forgotten what I wanted. I don't know.
May I help you, child? You seem somewhat perturbed.
I haven't the strength to cross the threshold. I wish to pray, to cleanse my soul.
The church is shut by order of the bishop. But I'm still the vicar of St. Mary's, if that is any use to you, my son.
You seem to me a good soul, Vicar. But this is a personal matter.
There are no secrets from God, my son. If your heart needs comfort, consider me your chapel. For I can be as silent as stone.
I've words for one departed. They're not for living ears to hear.
Your eyes burn with rage, yet I see the pain that lies beyond. I am here to lighten the burden of all God's creatures. Whatever you tell me is between us and the Lord.
Very well, priest, as you seem quite adamant.
Open your heart, my son. Tell me what burdens you. With whom do you wish to speak?
Just know I cared for her.
You seem so troubled by the loss of this girl. What happened to her?
It was an accident. A terrible, terrible accident.
I see. And how are you feeling, my son?
I feel responsible. The pain is consuming me.
I have a final question for you, my son. This is of the utmost importance.
Ask your question, Vicar.
What would you like her to know?
I'm so sorry, Mary. I promise to find who is responsible for all this. I'll put an end to this horror.
You have been heard, my son, and your burden will lighten if your words are sincere. Go in peace now, and live your life in the way she would have wanted.
Whatever happened on this dock is between my sister and I. It does not concern God at all.
Так, ладно, надо дальше. Уже нету все точки этой. Вот, есть все. Сюда зайти. На маркер.
You are blinded by your false faith, imprisoned by your daily...
Come on, Barrett, you know the game. You pay for peace of mind. You again?
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
I saw her wandering the streets. Yesterday, I think. She didn't recognize me. People say she's lost it. It's a sad story.
Goodbye, Mr.
Да, плохо все получилось.
Good quality. Fancy pop.
You never... Do you have any news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
It appears those who dare to get healthcare from that bitch are never seen again. Something fishy going on there, for sure.
Goodbye. Mr. Bates,
Evening.
have you heard anything about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Not really.
A man such as yourself, knee-deep in the muck of Whitechapel, must know more. Speak now.
Heard it closed after the owners died. Refugees don't want to come to Whitechapel no more. Scared, I hear.
You sound disappointed.
As long as she was there at the dispensary, it attracted more immigrants and kept my place full. Such a shame.
Why am I not convinced?
Maybe it's because you lack faith. Being a skeptic must be useful for a man of science.
Goodbye, Mr. Bates.
Дом Дариуса Петреску. Посмотрим.
A lot of people are talking about this colossus.
Так, ну зайдем. Амбулатория. Эх, ублюдки. Так, кто-то еще. Ах ты, зараза! Ну! Зараза, это опасный. Что, она стала вампиром? Ну что такое? Отвратительно. Ужасно. Я не мог подумать, что так все закончится. Что она убила? Так легко меня убила? Ладно.
Good evening, Christina.
Change your...
What do you know about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
2 girls I know went to the dispensary yesterday. Nobody has seen them since. I worry about them, in case bad things happen.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Goodbye.
Понятно. С Дороти Крейн что случилось? Вампир еще успела поубивать людей. Ужасно, просто ужасно. Я не ожидал такого. То есть гипноз творит ужасные вещи. Я должен закончить это дело. Ты смотри, как он внезапно. Блин, я застрял. Эй, иди сюда, Дороти. Маленький ключ. Маленький ключ Дороти Крейн, отпирающий сундучок или ларь. Это ужасно. Хотел как лучше, а получилось. Талон на медосмотр. Талон на бесплатное медицинское обследование с текстом на английском и румынском. Все, в принципе, в этом районе. Можно отсюда уходить. Ну-ка, а те за мной погнались, личи? О! Нормально. Попробую вылечить его.
Good evening, sir. It's me again.
Да я не могу даже вылечить его.
All right.
Окей.
Remorse and pain are precious when binding you to the earth. You. I remember you.
Это мой создатель, наверное. Ха.
Fear be gone. I would harm no child of my making.
This is your doing. You made me. Made me this creature. What are you?
I am the land. You are our champion.
You selected me. Chose me.
As shall my children yet to come.
What is it you seek?
This age is sickly. An ancient poison, an older rage, brewed in a cauldron newly forged.
This has something to do with the epidemic.
Seek truth, my champion. Defeat the serpent of knowing with iron spur.
Не защитник, а чемпион, он сказал. Фаворит, можно так перевести.
I've had enough of others making decisions for me, pretending to know how I should feel or behave. So the vampire who made me is some sort of disembodied entity? Or was he just projecting this vision in my mind? Maybe Edgar can help me with this one.
Так, ну к Свонси.
God protect us. You've got a leech in the hospital.
Yes, my hospital. My mission is to heal while you go about warring.
You've set the table for a snake. I wonder why there's venom in your food.
I'm growing tired of your song. You're a woodsman, McCallum, not a doctor. Return to your hunt.
Remember, I've a good nose for machinations. I can flare the scent at a mile. You can't hide from the god.
Он похож, кстати, на меня.
Leave him, Jonathan.
Прическа такая же.
This is sacred ground. Neutral territory. And I just had the carpet cleaned.
Не особо похож.
By the sacred stole, this is very bad news. Bad news indeed.
Епитрахилью? Что такое епитрахиль? Святая Епитрахиль. Ладно. Письмо от Ракеши Чанады. Пембрукская больница, 4 августа. Дорогой доктор Свонси, я готов управлять временным моргом, как только он откроется. Как я уже сказал, на фронте я был врачом и буду рад снова послужить моей стране. Я знаю, что врач для живых и для мертвых это не одно и то же, но мне кажется, что забота об усопших это важно. Будьте уверены, я приложу все силы для того, чтобы исполнять свои обязанности. Относительно моей квалификации. Мне жаль, что я ничем не могу подкрепить свои слова, и клянусь вам, что в полку меня сделали врачом, а на фронте я спас жизни многих людей. Если моего слова недостаточно, можете связаться с военной администрацией, там подтвердят наличие у меня опыта и навыков. И засвидетельствует то, что на войне я получил все необходимые для врача знания, даже если я никогда не изучал медицину. Искренне ваш, Ракеш Чанада, бывший врач. Ага, то есть он стал на войне врачом. Понятно. Так, больше тут ничего нету?
What happened? The hospital has been attacked. We have injured patients, at least one dead and several missing.
Ничего
This
себе.
has spiraled out of control. Even the most infirm are asking to be allowed to return home.
Пара новых трупов никто не заметит.
We cannot have the people lose faith in this institution. This hospital is their only hope.
Of course, you're right. But we cannot afford a public scandal, it would ruin us. We must restore order, and quickly.
You mentioned a dead patient. Who is he?
She, Jonathan. She was Miss Harriet Jones.
Это которая вампиром себя считала?
Blood everywhere. The duty nurse is taking care of the mess.
Нет, только не она. Надеюсь, я ошибаюсь.
Very well. I'll help you.
I know this place means something to you. I have noticed how you suppress your appetite when around the staff and patients.
You need to know you can trust me, Edgar.
I do, dear fellow, I do.
Please then, tell me.
Sean Hampton, the man we thought we'd saved at the docks. It seems he was infected after all.
So Hampton became more beast than man.
Exactly. And now Guard of Prewen suspects the hospital of vampire activity. Do you realize what that could mean for us?
Тот, который сидел, которого мы на лодке сюда притащили. Сидел уже здоровый, типа. Шон Хэмптон.
Rest assured, I will protect you and your staff.
McCallum is a fanatic. The Guard will stop at nothing. You don't know what they're capable of, Jonathan.
Very well. Since I brought Mr. Hampton here, I will put an end to this.
Печальный святой из Истенда. Положить конец дикостям Шона Хэмптона.
Sean Hampton lives and breathes for the well-being of his flock. There's no other place he would go but the docks.
Так.
It's locked, all right.
Можно поспать, кстати. Сейчас посмотрим, в каком состоянии. Нет, Эльма Хоукрофт вроде живая. Мертвый горожанин. Ужасно, конечно. А, я, наверное, не сделал тогда эти сыворотки. Фига себе, дорого стоит. Ладно, спустимся вниз сначала, посмотрим, как там дела. Потом поспать можно будет.
It's locked.
I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. You're buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reid. Can I be of any help?
Can you tell me anything about the recent commotion in the hospital?
I'm sure it was not your fault, Dr. Reid.
My fault? What do you mean?
Oh, nothing. It's just... I heard it was you who brought the murderer inside our walls. But you couldn't know, could you?
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Понятно.
Good evening, Mr.
Good evening, Doc.
Please.
I heard Miss Jones call for help from her bedroom. There were some loud noises, like people fighting. All of a sudden, it went quiet. And then a nurse started screaming.
Do you know who the nurse was?
Not sure, but I think it was Nurse Hawkins.
Goodbye for...
I will not let you down, my boy.
I'm quite bit.
What can you tell...
Nothing like this would have happened if we'd had enough staff and proper shifts.
So you don't think the blame is ours?
We all hold fast here, Dr. Reid. Our methods may differ, but we are all trying to make a difference.
Thank you for...
How can we be sure we're making a difference?
Good evening, Doc.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
It's a disgrace. How on earth can patients be attacked in their own rooms?
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Ай, ладно, ничего особенного в этих разговорах. Надо туда сходить, где этот был Шон. Так. Не она кричала там?
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Вот у нее может быть информация интересная.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
Everybody's afraid. Death has always been a frequent visitor. But murder? How can we cope with that?
As a nurse at this hospital, it is your duty to deal with these things as best you can.
Yeah. Until it's my turn to have blood spread all over the walls. I entered the room first, Dr. Reid. I've seen what that monster did to the woman.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Так, вот здесь вот он сидел. А, эту бабушку, он убил ее. Эту бабушку милую, сплетницу.
I have wasted too much energy for so
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening.
Can you tell me...
Before the shouts and the noises, I think I heard whispers coming from the stairs. 2 voices. Maybe more.
Did you recognize the voices? What did they say?
I couldn't hear. Sounded like they were arguing or something.
Это интересно.
Goodbye.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Good evening, Miss Howe.
I need blood, Doctor.
Is there...
Many things can happen under cover of night, Dr. Reed. But I took no part in this massacre.
But did you see or hear anything?
I can't say I did. But the smell of fresh blood almost made me faint, Doctor.
I'll leave you.
I wish I could be sick again.
Ладно, надо поспать.
Blood boil with the fever.
Ух ты, по кровавому следу. Ну ладно, сначала поспим. Так, можно эту штуку улучшить. 2000 тратить, неохота. Здоровье количество увеличим. Так, сколько дальше? 1000 стоит. Нехило. Выносливость и так уже у нас высока. Запас крови. Объем крови при укусе. Восстановление жизни при укусе. И урон при укусе. Так, гипноз. Не, здесь я гипноз не улучшу. Следующей ночью. Состояние почти... санитарное состояние. Санированное. Санированное состояние. Наверное, сейчас цены идеальные, самые лучшие. Не изменилось. Сколько болело. Блин, тяжелое состояние. Это опять простудился. Расследование обновлено. Вдова в беде. Ага. Это китаянка, которую мы спасли. По крови пойдем. Секундочку, они убрали всю кровь? То есть я зря спал, да? Я не думал, что тут так все это. Ну ладно. Интересно, отсюда передвигается. Упрощенно. А сюда выхожу, все, анимация нормальная. Там на заднем плане было.
Oh, Jonathan. I cannot believe my eyes. Poor woman. Butchered by some savage scowl.
Yes, and I'm afraid I'm at least partially responsible. The man, the scowl, I brought him here.
Jonathan, how could you say such a thing?
Forgive me if I feel despondent, for there seems to be no end to the suffering and death that surrounds us.
I'm always here for you, Jonathan.
Have you embraced this woman, like the other patient, this Mr. Renfield?
Her name was Amelia. And no, I did not kill her. I vowed a very long time ago that I would never take another life, unless they ask.
Is there sufficient vitality in the blood of the sick and dying patients?
Yes, Jonathan. The hunger gnaws at me every waking hour. Frankly, I'm starving.
Temptation surrounds us. Rich, vital. How can you resist?
Over the years, any pleasure I once gleaned from feeding is long gone. I drink for sustenance. And though I still thirst for more, I restrain myself.
What do you know of Ascalon? I was threatened by a creature, a vampire in Whitechapel, stating I had to obey the law of conduct.
What more can you tell me about him?
He was bigger than a man. Huge, in fact. He seemed to radiate violence. I thought he was going to tear me apart. Then he vanished.
Fergal, the executioner of Ascalon. You were fortunate he was not after you, but rather out doing his master's bidding.
What is Ascalon?
The Ascalon Club are the most powerful vampires in Britain and exert tremendous influence. Take my advice and stay well away.
I have experienced a certain difficulty when faced with holy symbols or trying to enter religious buildings. Have you?
Now that's quite a question. I don't know why, but yes, it has happened to me.
Is this a sign? The hand of God in action? Are we repellent unto heaven?
I don't have the answers, Jonathan. But I believe superstition and magic is just fact awaiting the lens of science.
Aren't you frightened?
Very little scares me, my dear. To be compelled to avoid symbols of faith does not concern me.
Thank you, my lady. I hope to see you again soon.
Another night with the glorious battalion of Pembroke.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to...
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
Someone killed Miss Jones in her room, and Mr. Hampton's gone missing. Doesn't take a genius to piece it together.
You don't seem shocked by any of this.
Why should I be? Whoever did this must be long gone by now. And besides, he got rid of the old bag.
I'd like...
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is...
Сейчас сцены должны быть идеальные. Дробовик Милтона? Купить, что ли? Ай, ладно.
Good evening, Doctor.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Can you tell me anything about the recent commotion in the hospital?
It's a tragedy, pure and simple. The hospital is meant to be a safe haven to all. We failed the people who trusted us with their care.
Do you think I should not have brought Mr. Hampton back here?
It's not your fault. You rescued that poor soul. It was the Christian thing to do. But we should have noticed his instability.
Nurse Brannigan has been recently accused of neglecting her professional duties. Tell me what you really think about it.
This kind of protest is nothing but elitist bullshit. I trust Nurse Brannigan with my life, She has what it takes to be a great doctor.
Do you really think she could be the next Elizabeth Blackwell?
Believe me, Dr. Reed, a time will come when skill and skill alone will determine who can be a physician and who cannot.
А, это он про нее письмо, что ли, писал?
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Hey, Doc.
What can you tell me about the recent commotion in the hospital?
All I know is I ain't letting anyone rip my throat out in my sleep. I found myself a nice blade, Doc. I'm ready.
I'll leave you for now, Miss...
К хорошему Уайтчепел надо сходить. Там дела совсем плохи. Сейчас немножко подлечим тут всех.
Good evening. Don't you fear getting sick yourself?
Faith gives me all I need, my
Ну-ка, это
son.
будет интересно.
If I must fall, then so be it.
No doubt your faith will prevail, but let me give you some extra protection against the devil's work. Medicine.
Blessed be your generosity, my son.
I have had an...
You look so very much.
You...
Can I offer...
Keep him...
There is a...
All right. I'll take it.
Goodbye, Mr.
You...
Goodbye.
Что с управлением случилось? Все заработало, отлагало. Сам двигался сейчас.
You never lose. Do you need help?
To be honest, I'd prefer you take a look at my stuff.
I don't quite agree, but I will.
Really?
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Так, ну ладно, на этом серия заканчивается. Всем, кто смотрел, спасибо. До встречи.